What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another unboxing. I did receive in the mail a couple of different mint on card vintage Star Wars figures that kind of add to a couple of character runs that I've got going. And one of those, of course, is Bossk. That's one of my favorites. And I've got a number of different examples here that I've shown on the channel before. We've got a 77A back, a 65A back, a 48 back, Return of the Jedi. We also have a Tri-Logo Palatoy, and then we have the 41D back, offerless Empire Strikes Back card. And I did finally pick up another one to add to my collection, and it's kind of an interesting one with an interesting story that I thought I would show right now. And here it is. I picked this up in the Deal or No Deal group on Facebook. And I think I got a pretty fair deal on it. Now, what is it, you ask? Well, first of all, you'll notice that the racetrack has this black portion underneath the Empire Strikes Back logo. So that usually is a dead giveaway for those of you that know your card backs way better than I do. And what this is that this is a General Mills German card back. And so these were distributed in Germany, assuming it was legitimate, but this one is not. And for those of you who are aware of what Toy Tonys are, this is a good example of a Toy Tony. And the short kind of Cliff Notes version of that is that a gentleman who goes by Tony, he was able to purchase when the Palatoy factory was going out of business. I assume that this came from the Palatoy factory. It could have been a different factory, I don't know, but I know for a fact he purchased a number of unused card backs and unused blisters when the Palatoy factory was closing down towards the end of the Star Wars line. And he had a nice little operation going where he took the unused blisters, the unused card backs, and then he purchased, you know, kind of near mint figures and then assembled them himself and then passed those on to collectors as factory assembled originals. And he did this for a wide range of different card backs. And one of those that it's very well known for are these General Mills German market card backs. So let me show you the back of that because that'll make the most sense, because as you can see here, it's got a bunch of German language down there. There are, of course, mint on card examples that are factory original. This is not one of them, though. This is one of the ones on the Toy Tony list. Mr. Palatoy's Guide on Google, if you search it up on the internet, he's got a very detailed guide list as to which card backs were affected by this little scheme of his. The scheme went on probably sometime in the 2000s all the way up until about 2013 when the ruse was discovered by the collecting community. So this is an example of one. So as you can see, it's really clean, and it's got the German language card back there. I'll do a kind of a zoom in here. You'll have to forgive me if my camera is acting wonky. But as you can see, it's got just, you know, the German language there and you know, all the different figures. So this is a factory-made card back. This is a factory-made blister, but this was assembled by Tony after the fact and then sold on to collectors, and a number of them did pass muster with AFA and UKG before everyone caught on as to what was going on. And as you can see here, this one is labeled by UKG as a 90% grade, 90, 90, and 85, General Mills 45 back. So anytime you see a really high grade General Mills German card back that has been graded by UKG or AFA, chances are it's probably a Toy Tony. And as I said, there are very detailed lists as well as the number of estimated Toy Tonys for each character and card back that's out there. Very easy to find on the web. But this is an example of one, and the only reason I really added it is because, number one, it was fairly inexpensive. It wasn't nearly as expensive as a true factory assembled original General Mills would be. And, you know, so I got it for a pretty fair deal. And I just thought it'd be nice to have as part of my collection. I'm not a big Toy Tony guy. I'm not going to buy like a bunch of those because I just, you know, it kind of leaves a bad taste in collectors' mouths what he did. But I think for certain characters like Bossk, it's just nice to have another card back variation to kind of include. The other big dead giveaway is that this blister has kind of more the traditional later Palatoy blisters. And most of the correct, to my knowledge, again, I am not an expert on this stuff, but most of the General Mills that are actually factory assembled have the double stem Palatoy blisters. That's my understanding anyway. And I'm sure that somebody with much more knowledge can correct me on that. But none of the weapons were ever taped to the inside of these Toy Tonys, to my knowledge. They were just kind of thrown in there. And as you can see, this figure wasn't even really that mint. It had a big scratch going on right there. So it wasn't like he was super picky with some of the figures he decided to use to assemble inside these blisters, just to kind of keep the ruse going, so to speak. So one of the topics that I talked to with a number of collectors is, can you imagine what these unused card backs would be worth now if they were graded and authenticated as original made factory card backs, but they were overstock? If there was just like a labeled overstock card back, they would be worth thousands and thousands of dollars. So I think Toni took the short-term profit, but you know, if he had just kept all those unused card backs and slowly trickled them out after getting them graded, he would have made probably 10 times his money if he had them today. But anyway, it's just an interesting kind of part of the Star Wars vintage, you know, Kenner and Palitoy history, that somebody was able to buy these and assemble them himself and actually get them to pass muster with grading. That's probably the most interesting thing, is that AFA and UKG were able to still authenticate them as what they thought were factory assembled, when in fact they were done by Toni after the fact. So anyway, just an interesting piece of collecting history, and it's just kind of nice to add another card back for the Bossk run. And now I've got another one I'm going to show you for my Cloud Car run that is a factory assembled original and has been graded by AFA. Lastly, I did pick up another mint on card Cloud Car pilot to add to my existing run. And here's my existing run before I show you the new one. We have the 47 back Empire Strikes Back with the free 4-LOM offer. We have the 48 back A. We have the 48 back C with the free Revenge of the Jedi sticker offer. We have the 65 back A Return of the Jedi, and then the 48 back transition card with the free Neonum offer that I just added also fairly recently. But I did pick up a new one, and it's not perfect, but it's about as good as I'm going to get. I've finally given up on a clear blister, and here it is. This is the debut card for the Cloud Car pilot, the 45 back Empire Strikes Back Star Wars Display Arena offer. Again, this is the debut card, and it does have a yellowed blister. I was trying to hold out for a clear blister, but the more I talked to longtime collectors, they said that it is very difficult for some reason to find this one on a clear blister. And I only know of one that I've seen in the last 2 or 3 years, and that one was at Hakes, I believe, in March. It was an AFA 80 clear blister debut card, and that sold for way too much money. I just couldn't afford it. I think the final sales price after the buyer's premium was $1,300. So I can't justify that kind of price. I went as high as I could, but I lost out. So this one popped up on Deal or No Deal, and I want to say thanks to the seller on this one. It just is an absolute beauty. And here's the grading label on that one. This is AFA 80 plus. Let's see if we can get it to focus a little better here. There we go. 45 back Cloud Car palette, 80 plus, 85, 85, 80 were the sub scores. So it noted a little bit of discoloration on the torso to the figure. Both accessories are still attached inside the blister, which is nice. So to get the 80 subscore, it has to be a figure degradation problem or a paint defect if the weapons are still attached like they are. Very lightly yellowed. I mean, it's not like super yellow, and it's also not super clear either. So it's kind of like moderate yellow, I guess. But a gorgeous card back. It is punched. This is the first one, I believe, that is punched. The rest of mine either have the hanger tab partially attached or they're true unpunched card backs in my collection. But this is gorgeous. Here's the back of the card for those who have never seen a 45 back. It's got a kind of a wonky design here for that Star Wars Display Arena offer. It was a mail-away set with these plastic kind of pieces that could be displayed in all kinds of different configurations. They were kind of like plug and play, and you could kind of alternate them as you see fit with a little sliding cardboard backdrop behind it. So they had a Hoth scene, a Dagobah scene, Bespin scene, the Star Destroyers and things like that. So pretty cool offer. I've seen these Display Arena offers with the mailer box and all the paperwork and all that good stuff for sale very regularly. They're not terribly expensive to pick up in kind of unused condition, but just really nice to finally add one. I was speaking, as I said, with a number of collectors, and they said that they've only seen maybe 3 or 4 of these 45 back cloud car palettes with a clear blister. So they just do not pop up regularly. Maybe at some point in the future, unlikely, but maybe some point in the future I'll be able to upgrade this one to a clear blister. But in the meantime, it's nice to finally get the debut card back for a nice little character run I've got going. As always, I put together a little slideshow at the end of this so you can take a look at the Toy Toni General Mills Bossk, as well as this 45 back Star Wars display arena cloud car palette, and just really excited to add both of these. And I will say this, that I want to also thank a number of you guys who watch the channel and are members of Rogue 5 Toys on Facebook. Over the last 2 or 3 months, I've sold a number of items on Rogue 5 to kind of help pay for these 2 items, as well as 2 more that I've got coming that should be here any day now. And I'm very appreciative of for those of you who have purchased from me. I've sold some graded TVC, and I also sold about 40 or so comic books, both on Rogue 5 and on My Slabs and on eBay over the last few months, and I saved it all. I saved it all to pay for these items. So I'm basically flat broke after a recent purchase on another recent purchase on Deal or No Deal, as well as a recent purchase on Hakes. But I was able to kind of sell 50 items and buy 3 or 4 to kind of add to my vintage Star Wars mint on card run. So thanks so much for watching. That's all I really had, and I'll be back soon.